Hi, if I have you hooked and you're scrolling through watching all the videos on YouTube channel Drew, you may have noticed that I talk about an Indian god called Shiva. In this video, I will clarify why I believe in Shiva and illustrate my story with some digital art I've created and compiled over the last few years. In my channel's bio, I state I am at present practicing Buddhism, and this is true. However, I have been into spirituality on my own path for about 20 years now, and I have experience of many different spiritualities. From the ancient traditions of shamanism to the philosophies of the New Age, I've delved into the realms of spirit quite a bit. If it has some power over the mortal mind, I've most likely experienced it. But definitely, one of the most powerful paths I've experienced is Shaivism. Shaivism is the worship of the divine being known as Shiva. Shiva is a diva of India, a divine eternal. He is known by many names and possesses many abilities. He is the destroyer of demons, of illusion, of ignorance, and of the cosmos at the end of the universe. He is the Maha Yogi, the great holy man, and the Maha Guru as well, the great teacher. To start this account of my personal experience of Shiva, I would like to share a short but potent meditational practice. Perceive this. Hold a vision in your mind. Think, who is perceiving this vision? There is a part of you watching inside your mind. This awareness is you, your higher self, and God, all at the same time. Know that this awareness is God, and you become closer to God. Train this awareness. It is your third eye. Training your third eye on God is said to be the secret of attaining heaven in the afterlife. In Shaivism, Shiva is the God within. When one says Namaste, that the divine within me salutes the divine within you. So I say to you, Namaste. Now the story of how Shiva has come to dwell in my heart is actually a long one. Even though at present I am learning and trying to practice the Buddha Dharma, I cannot deny my worshipful reverence and inner devotion to Lord Shiva. I see myself as a microcosm of the macrocosm that is Shiva, only now progressing to the end of the spiritual path described as a complete extinguishment and cessation of the Buddha. Everything that has a beginning has an end, including spirituality. Thus also my soul, which has been entangled with the divine essence of Shiva since the beginning of my spiritual path, will find its end, hopefully, through the Buddha's teaching, eventually. And now to tell you about this beginning. After finishing high school in the break year, I formulated a great adventure for myself. I would travel the great continent from one side to the other by land. Beginning the overland journey proper in Paris, France, I would take 6 months by road, rail and ferry to reach Delhi, India. To achieve this, I include a daring road trip over the highest mountains on earth, the Himalayas. Little did I know, but the Himalayas are considered a mystical and sacred place in Shaivism, the home of Shiva. Mount Kailash is a sacred site of pilgrimage for Shaivites in the Himalayas. Making it over the Himalayas after many hair-raising adventures, as well as a rendezvous with my beautiful girlfriend and travelling partner through Nepal and India, Friday, I ventured down the mountains to the land of India. We proceedingly arrived on the beaches of Goa, trying the specialities of the local scene, including charas, techno parties, and tropical lagoons under the full moon on acid. It was while staying on a beach in Goa that I began to feel the influence of Lord Shiva. Firstly, I was enchanted with the mantra, learning to sing Om Namah Shiva. Then we visited the Shiva tree. This Shiva tree is a giant and sacred strangler fig tree that has grown up and around another tree. The original tree, the strangler fig parasited, has long since died, leaving a great hollow tube in the centre of the trunk of the now massive strangler fig. This amazing tree has been made sacred to Shiva, with an altar and fire pit on a round earth platform nestled at the base of it. So here I was, just having travelled over the greater portion of the earth, ending up in the drug-soaked techno-music soundtracked mystical forests of Goa, India. My hair, in intuitive synchronicity, was tonsured in a shavik style, with a skull cap of dreadlocks at the back of my head. I was deep in love with Bridie, my partner and muse. I was probably stoned on premium black Indian hashish and possibly tripping on acid. I decided to climb the Shiva tree. Now this was unpremeditated, but I had climbed an almost identical strangler fig in the hills of Mullumbimby, northern New South Wales, so I knew what I was doing to some degree. I quickly clambered up the interior of the trunk and popped out in the giant forking branches. Suddenly the couple of Indians tending the sacred site began shouting out to me to come down. Obviously I had transgressed. Only later would I deduce that I had climbed the Sushuma or Kundalini channel of the god. I believe that in doing so, I somehow became joined to the divine power that is Shiva the Destroyer, because ever since I have had a spiritual transcendental connection with him. One of Shiva's powers is as Lord of the Dance. He beats his cosmic drum and twirls around dancing, and all the cosmos follows suit. I also have channeled Shiva as Lord of the Dance, feeling incredible ecstasy and experiencing unbelievable synchronicities. If you watch my previous video, Experience of the Goddess, I explain about my chest tattoo and its properties of Shiva Shakti. My red star on the brow is similar to the sacred Indian body art called a tilaka and represents Kundalini rising and the third eye. This tattoo was done by a lady artist named Kali, synchronistic with Shiva's consort Kali. The symbol of the red dot in a red triangle, that was my complete head tattoo, is an Indian yantra symbolizing Kali dancing. All these symbolic synchronicities unified my inner world with an unshakable faith in the reality of Shiva, and this I believe also had ramifications in the outer world. The crossover between Indian and Celtic mysticism is for me a mysterious facet of my life, but I would swear on it. In the vein of the Lord of the Dance is also in popular culture a famous Irish dance show with titles like Lord of the Dance and Feet of Flames. I believe that the Feet of Flames is a spell of Shiva, as for several years during the peaks of my Shaivite experience, there was continually fires in adjoining areas of space to my locality. This only ended after occurring in Glastonbury, UK, northern New South Wales and other synchronistically connected places all over the country I was travelling. It only ended about 5 years ago with a fire in the next door building of my Irish ex-girlfriend in Maroubra. This Feet of Flames, a trail of synchronistic fires, was like to me a sign of Shiva's proximity. I have also channeled Shiva directly while dancing, and it was probably the most ecstatic experience I've ever had. I was at a dance hall behind Mullumbimby for a New Year's Eve techno party, dressed in red, designer pants and cherry combat boots, with my hair long, just past my shoulders. I had freeloaded my way, hitchhiking, to the dance hall. The guy who gave me a lift also had a big 4-litre bottle of magic mushroom brew, well prepared, cold and sweetened with honey. There is a special magic mushroom that grows in the forested hills behind Mullumbimby that I have not seen the quality of ever. With a shiny golden film on the cap, they are called gold tops. Anyway, he left me with the bottle, so I had an ample drink. It was to be one of the best mushroom trips ever. The peak experience, however, was incredible for me. I was on the dance floor and had been dancing to the awesome techno under the fluorescence, looking at all the artwork and people morphing into amazing hallucinations. By this point I was deep in trance, dancing, sweating and spinning. My third eye opened up in a vision of Shiva resting on peachy clouds above the dance floor. My feet began to dance of their own accord as I span about, cherry boots doing cool little heel and toe things. My spinning hair fanned out around me, each strand flicking sweat from ends twirled to points by invisible fingers. Someone threw me an inflatable globe of the world, which I lifted high and span about with my raised arms. I had the world spinning in the palms of my hands. Suddenly a rush of ecstasy welled up in my heart, filling my chest, and my head tilted back as I turned like a dervish. My mouth opened up and a huge peal of laughter exploded out of me. I felt so good. I just laughed and laughed in the middle of the dance floor till people stopped dancing and stared at me. It is still to this day the best laugh I've ever had. It was the ecstasy of Shiva, Lord of the dance. Here in this artwork, as well as others, Shiva is pictured standing on the demon of ignorance with great power. Myself, like many other spiritual devotees, have had my ignorance defeated by spiritual gnosis. In the beginning, I was an ignorant young punk, no concept of sanctity or non-violence. Nowadays, I am far more humble, still learning that the perfection that we all seek is hidden in the divine, and only true devotion can bring it forth from the human heart. The earth-shaking power of the god Shiva both scared and enthused me, but in the end, I am sure that it's for the best.